Alright, stream starting. Yeah, we're here. Alright, welcome back. We got another one up here. It's already pre-opened. We will tell a story about it at the moment. Not in this stream, but later tonight, doing a build. We have all of our parts are here for a PC build. We've got the case, everything. So stop back and check that out. On to the show. So this wonderful, magical iPad 5th gen was serviced at a mall kiosk. I guess the screen started coming part way out. Okay. I'm hit record now, so in case something happens, I at least have the recording. I always forget to do that. But this was serviced at a mall kiosk. And the screen didn't stay in completely. It had started coming out. So the user tried to press it back in. It didn't quite stay in. And this time there was something black sticking out of here. So they taken and pressed it in, but they couldn't get it in. Like, they didn't lift the whole screen off. It was just this one part that kept coming up. And they couldn't get the black thing back in, probably because it was stuck to the adhesive. But they did get it pushed part way in, and what they couldn't get in, they cut off, thinking that it was the adhesive and whatnot. And then put some Gorilla Glue in here. And the Gorilla Glue ended up, we got a tear in the stuff around our screen here. The tape. Is that going to leak light or anything? I don't know. So the screen, and was that due to it was stuck to the glue part. Like when I pulled it, it ripped. You can see this all bent up here. And what they had actually cut was their ribbon cable. Let's get in here and take a look at this if we can. So this particular user had cut their ribbon cable that connects. They cut the edge of it off. As soon as they cut that and cut down the edge of it, touch immediately stopped working for the digitizer. So, yeah. The one repair not being done properly, and the home button never quite stayed in. It always just floated around, they said, and you can kind of see here now that I can press on different areas of it and get the glare to show up because it's completely loose in there. And you can also kind of, if you want, scoot it to the side or scoot it up the other way. And it looks like there's a break in the home button, but it is paired, and I think it's a circuitry that it's paired with, so we got to be careful with that. Definitely have to be careful with that. Anyhow, let's get this repair started. Is there enough room to open up without ripping anything? It appears there is. It's pretty tight. Oh, man, where to start on this one? It's almost like we don't have enough work area. I do want some area to sort out my screws. Another box roughly that size. Let me see. I'm kind of thinking maybe we move the mat. The mat lets you sort the screws good, but I could sort them elsewhere. So I say instead of trying to do something crazy and goofy, let's just move our entire mat and we'll work off of the mod mat underneath. We should not need the pentalobe. We'll put that away. We gotta do quite some flipping, and then we can sort our screws over in that general area. I'm gonna fit. Yes, it should turn just fine. Let me get the yellow, and it's a little bit bigger. Okay, so do I really need to explain opening a screen? Is that essential to this repair? Hopefully nothing with no ends. Just have to get your screen loose. If you're removing your screen, be careful in this area. But if you're removing it, you may break it. You also may rip your digitizer cable. So if you rip that, you're going to have to replace the digitizer. If you break the digitizer, screw the cable. They're not important, but they could cause shorts. And that's what I'm kind of wondering. Did the user create any shorts when cutting that cable, the ribbon cable with this thing on? That, I'm not sure about. So anyhow, let's take our 4 screws out for our LCD. They are not the same size, so keep them separate. Whatever you do, keep them separate from each other. Map them out, lay them out, whatever you got to do. Explain the difference in sizes. Will it truly hurt anything? No, I don't think so. But this screw, this one, and this one are all the same size. I think they're like 4 or 4.1 millimeter. 4 millimeter, I'm going to say. And it's like longer, 4.1 or 4.8. Or maybe I have that backwards. But anyhow, this screw in the upper right hand corner is a different length. So don't necessarily set it to the side, but just make sure you know where you set everything. Try not to run into the screws and knock them around. If you have a magnetic mat, like a magnetic map mat that has places to put these screws, that's a good way to do it. If you have something with a grid, take a piece of paper and draw a grid on it. If you can find a big magnet, like a big flat fridge magnet, and glue some paper to it, make your map that way. And what I do so screws tend to not roll around so much is I'll lay them on the head instead of like down on the side where they could be hit and roll easier. Now, granted, if you flick it, it's still going to fly, but when they're on the head, they don't tend to roll as much. Yeah, so we have those out. With those out, we need, let me state that too. After you get your screen loose, when you flip this open, you're going to open it just like a book. And then we have to get our LCD loose. You don't want to disconnect any cables or anything yet. We got to flip this down. So what I'm going to do is actually turn this so we have room to work on it on camera. You don't want to lift by the end by the home button. You're going to lift by the top part. This is an iPad 5th generation, I believe, A1822. So everything is still connected. You can't just lift up and pry it over. You have to like lift the whole screen, get it past your little flex cable assembly there. You can see, or the ribbon cable. or the home button cable. So you're gonna lift the whole screen up, hinge it, and then it will be, you have these cables on the back here. There is enough room to lay it down like that if you get it past your home button cable. And being that we're changing this one out, we should be fine. Let's see if we can. How do we cut that glare? There we go. Okay, so we're going to start up here with the battery. Before we do anything, we need to get the battery disconnected. Apple devices like doing weird things when you don't disconnect the battery first, like having no display, no backlight. So that's our screen. I'm gonna try and put this in a place. So put that there. Let's see if we can move these and not smack into them. Tempt and fade on this one, putting these this close together. And we have our battery screw there. Okay. So far, so good. That, oh yeah, it definitely cuts the glare. So how does this connect? Oh, this is the one. Okay, so the battery. We got to get something in between there to separate the battery, because it's not a pry up like previous models. I believe. Probably too thick. Actually, I don't remember on this one. I have to look it up. Pad 5 battery. Okay, so there is just tabs there. When we pull this up. Okay, so here is what we're looking at. Let's have those tabs. Now my question is, are they double-sided? No, they're not. We have that screw hole. Well, I was not looking forward to just removing the battery. Right. Does that really work? And the phone chimes right as you're touching it. All right. Modified opening pick it is. Let's chop this thing up. We got to do some work first. So we're getting out. This is an old, out of a laptop, but it's a nice metal. It's the part under the keyboard where the ROM is kind of protected. Yeah, we need it. All right. We're just discussing an ultrasonic cleaner. We need to get one for some of our repairs. So, but that would have been boring for anybody out there that actually watches. What we're doing right now is modifying and opening, like a guitar pick, basically an opening pick. I was going to do this, but I like the wider grip on this one. What we're doing is cutting it out to be able to fit around where the screw hole is on. Which room do we have here? Right there where the screw goes in for the battery. We need to tuck this in to keep the battery separate from the board. So we got to cut this out. Take two. You know what? I'm guessing this is going to keep breaking every time we try and cut it. So, how do, how do, how do. We'll just use a different corner. We're going to put our little mark on it. How deep is the question? Let's say we want to go to there. When we will chop off this front end. Okay, that's what we got to chop out. Gonna say heat gun. We're gonna soften up this plastic a little so we can cut it without it snapping and popping and breaking. What we don't want to do is melt it, but soften it up a little. So that end snapped off. I'm guessing the whole thing is gonna snap. So I don't remember. Maybe I didn't work on one of these. I just know. I think I never did this for an iPad, so I know it wasn't one of these. Maybe it was the. What am I thinking of? iPad Mini. Who sees this going into my fingers when it breaks? Try not to cut toward yourself. We're going to heat this and see if we can get that line to show through that cut, at least a little bit on this side, roughly where it is. It may have worked. Let's give it a shot. Didn't break it. I think if we have to, let that cool down, hopefully. Good. I'm going to try and thin this end out a little real quick with a file. Just smooth it all out. Last thing I expected was to come in and make a tool today, but we have to, I suppose. Just doesn't fit. So do the square one. Yeah, you would never see that. So I'm gonna finish this up and give it a shot. Well, let's see what we have. That's what we ended up with. That's what pictures of the iFixit one and just any other thing you see online kind of look like. We don't have our own logo on it. We could probably solve that quick. All right. Enough just for a gag, right? Ain't even centered on the tool, but hey, we got one. Bang. All right, let's continue with this. Pick up our couple tools we had to get out and see if we can finish this up today. Here in the neighborhood where we need you. Just worry that it's not thin enough. Definitely worry that. Seeing how hard that is to get into. Go. As long as that don't spring out, it's in there around the screw hole, separating the battery from the motherboard. I don't think that's a really recommended practice. I think what we're going to do for safety's sake is possibly attach it somehow to with tape. I don't have confidence that that's not going to flex and come out of there. All right, we're not wasting any more time. Let's do this repair. We got to get our display loose, our digitizer loose, glass part. So we need to take. Wow. So they didn't even attach. Did I take? I didn't take no screw out of there. This screw was not even put back in here. What are the chances that a screw from an old iPod is the same threading as that in depth? We're gonna check if we have one close in size, because these two are the same size screw. I'm gonna look and see if that third one's even in here hanging out anywhere. Did it come loose? Was it never just put back in? So this was, like I said, this was serviced at a mall kiosk. Wow. What is it caught on? If not, does it wrap on the edge? Okay, so I'm gonna try and pry this up. And there we go. Why would they not put this back? On there? Well, that's our adhesive. I did not know we were going to be seeking out a screw, so we got to find something that threads in there. Hopefully, an iPhone screw something. Check the size real quick. I'm just going to take a quick look around to see if there's any loose screws floating around inside our case. That could also cause problems later on if they left it in there. But being that it wasn't there, I'm guessing that it was never even put back in, quite possibly at all. So where is our home button flex at? Okay, it comes over and takes a turn here. So we're going to attempt to, which side's the latch? On this side is the latch. Is that just an insert one? Quite possibly an insert, but I'm fairly certain it's a latch. Oh, no, I think let's take a look. No, it's this side. Okay, yeah, that was too easy from this side, so it wasn't the other side. The latch here, let's put it back. You can see it flips up pretty easy with little pressure, not from the side I was looking at. That's one of the difficult things with these connectors. They don't always like to be apparent which way they open. That's free. Our home button should be about free. All right, home button's free. Can this whole thing pull away from the case? All right, there we go. We got to swap the home button from this busted digitizer that the cables got cut on. You can see. Sony, I believe. I believe in you. Where they chopped into that, where it was sticking out, and then glued the whole edge. Yeah, it made a right mess of it. We'll get that switched over here shortly. This is something we can't rip or mess up because the button and the circuitry is tied together, I believe, with the board. We'll take and make sure that's in. Let's put a line on that right now so we can see if that line's gradually creeping away. Like if it was here, we would know that it had moved, but it's there. And is our display free? Seems as though it is. What was it? 420? Yeah. We're gonna have to move if we're doing this one. We need to get this connector. I don't think this is on the new one. Hey. Right. We need to get our adhesive loose from around the edge of this, if any's left. We're going to take a moment and clean it up. We want our new adhesive on the new screen to have as good a chance as we can. Sticking and leaving any of the old stuff there is going to be just awful. So we're going to try and soften it very quickly with some Goo Gone or adhesive remover. And then we'll give a scrape at it with a plastic tool. Plastic, in case we slip, we don't cut through anything. But first, let's hit it with our Yeah, I'm not seeing a screw so far. It hasn't made itself known. If it indeed is in here, I'm not seeing a loose screw floating around in this case. So we do have some gorilla glue to scrape off this side here. This over on this side, there is definitely gorilla glue hit the home fort attempting to hold his display in. It's really crazy. All right, let's give a scrape real quick, and then we're gonna go for pretty nice. Let's see if the one that's damaged. So, all adhesive. So not removing this old stuff can lead to your screen coming back out. You want as good of a seal with that new adhesive down to the aluminum frame as possible. How much Gorilla Glue is inside this thing? Some more. I think we're gonna need a metal tool to clean that up. It's pretty hard on there. So you don't have goo gun and you have a source of heat gun, blow dryer, you don't even need to put goo gun or adhesive remover on it. You can just literally scrape out of it. It's gonna be a task. I might choose to make it a little easier. Maybe it makes it harder, I don't know. Letting all the glue smear around like that instead of just sticking to each other. But it seems to be the way that I've gotten it up with the least amount of work. And had the most success rate. Now here, you don't want to scrape under and lift those up, so try to avoid those. What are these, speakers? Don't want to rip them off of what ties them down and a little foam insert there. I mean, I suppose you can, but not recommended. Metal tool. Metal tool time. I think that's the Gorilla Glue gone. And look what we did. We're bumping our pick. Not even noticing it. Or deflecting it. So I think already taking more time than the kiosks at the mall would take. Granted, we are doing more of a repair than they initially did, but we're doing a repair based on that repair and then some user intervention or user repair as well. Yeah, we still have more Gorilla Glue here. We got to get that out of there if we want this to seal back right. So rough there. Think of it like this. You need a nice flat surface for your screen to sit on when it seals down. Any little bit of balled up old adhesive or something where it's there, say there's something in the corner, but nothing down the whole edge, nothing down this whole edge, it's going to be up from the corner. And yeah, it'll stick part way up, but it's never going to let the adhesive fully seal the whole way up. So you're always going to have it want to lift off where it hasn't stuck. There is also a bit of adhesive backer on those. Whether it's from the screen or those, I'm not quite sure. It varies from model to model. We're going to give a quick wipe to try and remove that as well. Even though they move and will flex down a little, just any bits of glass, dirt, anything, we're trying to get it out of the way. Before being there, pick, you keep moving out. Is it me bumping you? We're just working on this thing, and it just generally, in general, move and keep moving. So the tape wasn't a bad idea. One more. Where is it? Really want to use it? We got to. It's all still Gorilla Glue right on that edge. Let's call that close. And go around the edge again with this remover. Wipe it down. And then we'll go back and hit it with some IPA real quick. Clean that up. This has, I don't know if they make it out of, it has like that orange peel chemical type scent to it. Uh, I don't trust this. It's not going to leave a residue or make the new adhesive not adhere, not stick down properly. if it isn't cleaned up. So oh boy, Gorilla Glue. Get I don't know, Gorilla Glue or scratching the aluminum. Let's call that finished. Back around with IPA quick. This stuff will evaporate much quicker. Depending on your percentage, it will have water in it. So make sure it evaporates if you spill it on anything or cleaning any electronics with it also. I don't think we're wrapping this one today, but that's okay. We can do it later before we build a computer. Do that in the after hours episode coming up tonight. Yeah. And there's still little adhesive right here. You can tell when you're going around, you're wiping and it gets super slippery rather than just like that squeaky coming clean type feeling. You feel it slide, means you still got adhesive there. Better not even be a piece of glass, another piece of glass, and it's black glass. So where are we getting black glass? Look, I'm kidding. Here, a shard of black glass that was in there. It screens white. Right, I'm gonna say 0. Man, there's a lot of glass in this thing. Did it have a black screen originally and all they had to replace it was a white one? Like it's literally in every corner of this device, there's glass floating around. It's more than a shard. This is all just laying inside a tablet that got serviced at a mall kiosk. I'm thinking, I hate saying anything disparaging other people's work and whatnot, but like, In some circumstances, I think you get what you pay for. And I can't speak about all of them, but wherever this went, yeah, it was not treated well. I'm not seeing any big shards on this side. This side had collected a whole bunch of shards. I don't see anything here. Most of all, that ever important screw that I'm looking for. I do not see that anywhere. Shards of glass gone. Dirt gone. Whatever that is. Gone. No screws. We need to find one. What size screw is there, I wonder? It's 1.4 millimeter. Oh boy, I thought probably most definitely. That's Nintendo Switch. What's in the box? iPod? It is. Okay, so that's the size we're looking at, and that is tiny. I don't think Apple could make screws that tiny back then. Um, we're gonna check though. We're gonna see if any one of these will thread in to help hold that plate down while I have it. Because I don't. If not, we're gonna be searching through junk iPads and iPhones for a 1.4 millimeter screw. And these look close, but they're definitely not as long. Being said, let's give it a check. Give it a whirl anyways. Yeah, that's not happening. Okay, so we gotta clean those up later without getting our toes stuck to them. I think we're gonna call it there for today. We'll finish this up tonight. I have to find a screw. We have some scrap iPads, iDevices here. So more than enough to dig through. We can look and see, verify with an iFixit teardown or something if it has a screw that size. For example, right here. They're not black. Apple wouldn't recycle screws from the device to device, would they? Let's compare where we won't drop it. No. Smaller shank. Uh, Smaller shank on it and a little longer. Let's try a different one. Something we know is different. Right size shank, but half a mile too long in Apple standards, Apple engineering standards. There's one that threads into the board. No. Not the right size. All right. Fruitless endeavor for now. We'll look it up later and find out which old device has the proper size in it. Anyhow, have a good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time it is, wherever you are. We're getting out of here. Go do the day job. We'll see you tonight after hours, and then an official experience podcast this weekend if you're into that sort of thing. Talking Heads, me and my co-host Jimmy James Menarchik should be here Saturday or Sunday. So stop back then if Talking Head talking about whatever is your sort of thing. It isn't most people's. Yeah, they're just all the wrong size. iPhone 5. Seems like they use smaller screws, and I want to put them back in case I need one. We'll have it. And then the old iPod ones, not the right size. Anyhow, if this is your thing, you're into fixing, tinkering, doing, you're the person who knows how to do it, give somebody a hand that needs it done, save their device from landfill, make it great again, make it work. And yeah, we'll catch you later. Thank you all for stopping by. We're ending this stream. Done? Yeah, we're done.